Okay, I really hope this works because my setup is actually bad. It's been a while since I've been staring into a camera directly since I was 9th grade when COVID hits and shit hits the fan. But anyways, this book is yes, it's keep in mind I grew up as a Buddhist, so obviously I'm going to be fascinated by Buddhism. But if you've been on the internet long enough and do some researches, it's actually a philosophy, and if you date back to the roots of the man himself, it's a philosophy. He was a philosopher, a spiritual one, to make it accurate. It tells a story about Siddhartha Gautama. He was a royal prince. Before he was born, when his mother was pregnant, she got visited by a white elephant in her dreams that says, there's a man that's going to, fulfill his prophecy and stuff. So, yeah, after he was born, there was some sources, which are, I could maybe label it, as, religious stories or, some beliefs. But some sources actually says after he was born, immediately he started walking like an adult, which I find it hard to believe. Well, of course we never know because it's some sources, obviously. So in his mansion, his family filled him with human fantasy, basically a fantasy world which there's no suffering, there's no sadness, there's no depression, just him enjoying his fantasy life, which was filled with delusions. And one day he was pushing like, I don't know, in his 30s, I think, I don't know, it was 39 or something, but it was like he was like an adult by the time he got out of his palace, and then he just riding a horse with his servant, or maybe it was his servant, and he saw a lot of people. He saw the ultimate truth, the ultimate reality, where suffering actually exists outside his palace. So after he saw this, he dedicated his life, the rest of his life, to meditate under some monks' teachings and under the Bodhi tree, which is a pretty big tree. And he meditated under there for, I don't know, I'm not going to say how many days because I have already forgotten it, but he meditated. He was so focused on he was determined to find the truth behind suffering. Now, I myself, how do I say this? I think he was trying to understand the the reality behind suffering. What was I about to say? Never mind. So, the first week or the first day, he encountered a loss. Like, there was I don't know if it's a metaphor or it was his actually spiritual experience, but he got visited by 3 women. Those were like supposed to represent his lustful mind, which he destroyed without using violence. And I think there's a meaning behind that. He also got visited by Demon Mara, who tried to fight him off, and from other sources says that after the Mara trying so hard to fight him but has never won, he asks like, how can you prove that you are the Buddha? His reply was, the earth is my witness. A pretty good line, but I don't know if it's in this book. His teachings is all about the mind. Even though you see some religious stuff, there's actually 3 branches of Buddhism. There's one Theravada, Mahayana, and Vajrayana. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry, but I think it's linked to Tibetan Buddhism. But his teachings is all about, contrasts to, the already existence of Hindu philosophy, which they claim to have the caste system, the Varna system, the Atman or the soul, which the Buddha denied all that. He denied all the Vedas and stuff, and he established a new form of philosophy, which is Buddhism. So, in ourself, our own self, in this world, we don't exist. Whatever you try to identify yourself with will always start to change. It's like your age. Right now, I identify myself as 18, but would that stay forever? No. It will change over time. So this is where the Buddha states that there's no soul, because we don't know who we are. It's anatta. Yeah, there's a concept called anatta. The changing. Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about, but they don't believe in souls. They don't believe in the self, because once you identify as a self, you're being egoistic, because it's ever changing, it's always changing, which I find really, really fascinating that he thought of this. And they do believe in rebirth. For me, I resonate some of it. I don't really go full fledged on it. For me, I think I resonate more with Zen Buddhism, even though I grew up Theravada. But the Bodhidharma is the only Buddhist monk that I've really liked. But whatever, let's get back to this book. And his teachings is there's also sources which it's proven that the Buddhist teachings are scientific, which is compatible with science, modern science. Here it says at the book, the back of the cover, it says here, Buddhist teaching is a way of life, not a way of belief. That is to say that Buddhism is very against identity, including your beliefs. Whatever you believe will also change. And this is where it really struck me, because the Bodhidharma himself also said, whatever you think, whatever you read, whatever you see, it's not real. It's not the ultimate truth. The ultimate truth doesn't have all that. It's somewhere out there, but we will never get a grasp of it. So everything we see is just not the ultimate truth. It's similar to Taoism, which I think both of the philosophies complement each other. In Taoism, they also understand that life is suffering, but they, instead of seeking to escape it, they seek to dance in it. But I think this is also one of the most misunderstanding of Buddhism, which I think some others say is that the Buddhists don't want to escape suffering, they just want to transcend it, to be immune to it, I think. So his teaching is very scientific, very empirical, very practical. He's not a philosopher, not a metaphysician. He's a very down-to-earth man. Buddha says, you can change your life. Beliefs are not needed. In fact, beliefs are barriers to real change. Excuse me. Start with no belief. Start with no metaphysics. Start with no dogma. Start absolutely naked and nude. With no theology, no ideology. Start empty. This is the only way to come to truth. The Buddha's words himself. If you ask me, this is one of the best philosophies I've ever encountered. I might be biased, I might be not, who knows. If I'm biased or not, if I'm not, if I am, it's an illusion. is ever changing. It's not real. So yeah, this is all I've got to say. It's a really good book. It tells, you know, it even mentioned Jesus and how he, you know, similar to Buddha, and I think this is more of Mahayana texts or teachings. It resonates more because in see here's the my favorite part, the middle way. Now the middle way by the concept of the middle way by the Buddha, he's like, it's not to deny all of our pleasures in life. We need to seek it in the middle. That is to say, it's similar to the golden mean by Aristotle, but both of them have different aims and the intentions behind the, you know, golden mean and the middle way. The Buddha's middle way, it's sure, it's, you know, you have to keep balance between you know, discipline and pleasure. Same with Aristotle, but the Buddhists do that to be enlightened. Aristotle does that to have a flourishing life. So I think if I think the outcomes, me personally, I think the outcomes are, yeah, it's great. I really love this concept because you know, we're still humans after all. We were born with pleasures, we were born with pain, we were born with discipline, so why not balance both, I guess. So yeah, I think that's it. It's a really good book and I recommend you reading it.